Hi, it's Misty, and we are back again with this week's Let's Chat Once Upon a Time. This week's episode was very kind of Emma, Henry, Regina focused. We saw a lot with Henry and Violet, and kind of, I think it was during, maybe it was during New York Comic Con, where it was either Adam, Eddie, or Emma, or Jen, one of the three that attended the conference, mentioned something about how Henry was going to experience his first heartbreak with Violet, and we kind of saw that tonight. But leading up to that big reveal was those Dreamcatchers. That's actually the title of the episode, was the Dreamcatcher. If you flash back all the way to season 2, you'll remember that Dreamcatchers were very important in the Emma Neal Balefire universe. Neil called them flypaper for nightmares, and ever since then Emma's kind of always held this affinity to Dreamcatchers, and it looks like how Rumpel spent his Dark One's night hours spinning gold. Emma makes Dreamcatchers, and they're actually really good, so maybe Etsy shop coming soon. And we saw the opening of this week's episode was with Merlin. We haven't seen Merlin since the opening of the season premiere, where he warned a very young Emma not to pull Excalibur from the stone. But we saw this week's episode, we saw that Emma was looking into a Dreamcatcher and actually saw what happened to Merlin. How he wasn't trapped in the tree so much as he was the tree. And we saw how that happened, that it was a Dark One who did that, and he used Merlin's tear. He was crying over his first love, and he used that to basically make Merlin into a garden accessory. And this whole episode was really about getting Merlin out of that tree. Which, spoiler alert, they did. But to do that, Emma and Regina realized that they needed a tear of heartbreak in order to reverse the spell. And so, you know, they tried to go back to Regina's old adage of Daniel, but let's face it, that's old news. Yes, she loved Daniel, yes, he died, but oh, she has Robin now. So that was quickly kind of figured out that that's not going to work. You know, Regina wanted to use her tears of sadness and heartbreak from when her mother screwed her over one of the many times, and because she has true love now with Robin, yeah, it's heartbreak, but it's not as bad. Seems like Emma kind of had a backup plan. She had a plan B for this situation, and she sadly used her own son to get it. What we saw in episode 2 with Henry and Violet dancing both in Camelot and him introducing her to modern music here in Storybrooke. We kind of picked up on that storyline. You know, we saw Henry and Violet's first date, and it was so cute because he introduced her to new things called diner food, and soda, and, you know, a diner. But she broke his heart. Violet broke Henry's heart, and the first reaction, I think, from all of us is, how dare she? She didn't even give him a chance. You know, what kind of horrible person is she for a 13-year-old girl? And then we kind of, you know, see a little bit later on when Regina and Killian and the gang find a Dreamcatcher in Emma's house that, oh, maybe Violet didn't actually break Henry's heart of her own admission. And we'll get to that in a second. In Storybrooke Land, we did see that Henry and Emma kind of came together for a, you know, mini operation. They kept calling it Cobra, but, you know, I thought Cobra was the season 1 thing, and then there was Operation Mongoose, but I don't know if Cobra is, like, expanded to everybody's happy endings, or was it just to break the curse? But nevertheless, they're calling this one Operation Cobra. So it's Operation Cobra, and basically it's to get Violet's horse back. Violet's prized horse ran away. And kudos to Emma, or whoever cast this curse, for bringing everybody's loved beings, including horses, over into Storybrooke. It was very decent of her. You know, Violet didn't want to go to the dance, or quote-unquote block party, as Henry and them were calling it, because she was so heartbroken over her horse missing. So instead of going to Regina, he went to Emma to get the horse back, and they did. They found him at, apparently Peter Pumpkin Eater owns a pumpkin patch in Storybrooke. Good to know. Found the horse, returned the horse, and in the meantime, the gang broke into Emma's house and found Excalibur in the basement. And that was kind of a nice thing. Kind of, except for the fact that they can't get Excalibur out, but they did realize, they did put the connection together that the Dark One's dagger and Excalibur were one and the same. And it was there that they found the Dreamcatcher, and later that night, Regina used her magic to reveal what the dream was, what the memory was that Emma had placed in the Dreamcatcher. And it was of her ripping out Violet's heart and instructing her to break her son's heart so she could get Heartbreak's first tear. Aww, she's getting up there with Cora and Mommy of the Year. So we're really kind of starting to see the darkness take a hold of Emma and weave its way into her being. And that's something that was brought up with Merlin, because, like I said, they freed Merlin. Arthur wasn't happy about it, was whining like a little bitch. And after he undid the Sands of Avalon spell that Charming and Regina were, or not Regina, Charming and Snow were put under, he told him, yes, I can free you from the darkness. However, it's as much up to her as it is to him, meaning if she wants to let go of the darkness, then so be it. But she's using more and more dark magic, which means it's embedding more and more into her soul, into her heart, which means she can't really get rid of it. So, eek. What else? Yaz's Only You song, we finally get a meaning from that. It's not that Henry just has this weird affliction for old 80s pop tunes, as great as they are. Turns out it was Neil's favorite song. So, aw, moment. It was Neil's favorite song, and he played it for Emma, and it wooed Emma back in the day, and so he was going to try and use it on Violet. What else? I think one of the big things that people noticed on Twitter was that Killian is just naturally drawn to Excalibur, and I think we're going to see more of that, as I mentioned last week, with that kind of spoilerly photo that was released of, you know, Killian fighting with Excalibur, and kind of based off of what I'm thinking that we're going to go for the next season. Could be. That was kind of an interesting plot. But then there's Merida. So Merida has been tasked with making Rumple not a coward. So he took a baby step at the beginning of the episode. He actually picked up the sword, which is, you know, a step further than what he did with, you know, Killian, where he wouldn't even touch the damn thing. So baby steps. But then Merida kind of quickly figured out that he needs something to fight for. So she went, did her research, bravo to her, and found Chip, the chipped cup. And that kind of lit a fire within Gold, and, or Rumple, whatever he's going to go as now. And he started fighting. So hopefully he will, you know, keep making those progressive steps to not be the simpering coward that he was pre-Dark One. Yeah, so really not a lot. Sorry, my train of thought's a little off this week. Blame the cold meds. Overall, it was a very good episode once again. You know, it's kind of saddening to see that, you know, Henry had such hope in Emma, even as a Dark One, and because of the things that she did, the Dark Ones always hurt the people they love the most, and that's something that Gold was trying to tell her, and something that Emma should have known prior to this, going through all the experiences she went through with Neil, but she didn't learn it, and now we have a heartbroken Henry. But at least we did see that Henry did age at least a year. He's no longer 12. He is now officially 13 in Once Upon a Time land, even though he looks older. So there's that. Full recap will be up on Entertainista.com tomorrow. And don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, if you noticed, our username has changed to just Entertainista, but the URL is still Entertainista TV. So it shouldn't matter to those of you who are already subscribed, but if you haven't subscribed, I would subscribe now. You can click the link down below that says subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and all the other fun things at Entertainista. And feel free to leave comments below. I love to talk about Once Upon a Time with everybody. Tweet me, Instagram me, Facebook me, whatever, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!